into oil, and Rockefeller was very angered by this. And he, in order to get back at him, he closed all of his oil refineries in Pittsburgh. And this led to the ultimate demise of Tom Scott and his business. In Chapter 8, before Rockefeller, Scott saw an opportunity to develop his human resources. There was a young 12-year-old boy named Andrew Carnegie, and he saw great potential for this little kid, and he was a hard worker, and so he took him under as his personal assistant. Carnegie later used his human resources skills to help build the bridge over the Mississippi. He hired a cheap, smart man, James Eads, to construct the bridge. During the bridge construction, they ran out of money. So Scott used the psychological contract to convince people to invest their money into the bridge. And since they're investing their money, the bridge would be known as the eighth wonder of the world. And then Carnegie's attitude and creativity would motivate him. So when they built the bridge, it was built with steel, and Carnegie saw great opportunity for steel in the future and what it could be used for. In Chapter 10, Carnegie's motivation transformed the nation. The skyline of New York City was drastically changed. Buildings could be built up to immense heights never before imagined. And his need for power and to be greater than Rockefeller pushed him to continue his steel industry and just build it. Chapter 11, Carnegie fits all the roles as an effective leader. He demonstrated skills that separated him from non-leaders, such as taking steps to cut costs, his creativity, and to increase profits. So Carnegie had his chairman, Frick, and the two of them were very balanced when it came to their leadership skills. Carnegie had a more relationship-oriented. He cared what people thought about him, and he wanted to make people happy. Frick did not care what people thought about him and only wanted to increase profits, increase production, and the two of them together were effective for some time. However, all good things must come to an end, and when Carnegie went on vacation to Scotland, Frick took this opportunity to increase production, and he would have the men working 12-hour days, 6 days a week in terrible conditions. All the men were furious by this. They tried to reason with him, and this is where the two-way communication failed, because Frick did not listen to them whatsoever, and he did not care about their wishes. So then they striked. And when they striked, about 2,000 men, Frick wanted to send a nonverbal message that he was not backing down. With this, he brought in the Pinkertons to scare the men, and it ended horribly with 9 of them dead and several injuries. With this, a new group was arising, the anarchists. They had one task, and that was to bring justice to Frick and kill him. From this, Carnegie saw that Frick was a liability and didn't want him in the business anymore. So conflict started rising, and Carnegie would tell reporters, like, yeah, if I was here during the strike, it would have been totally different, and Frick handled it badly. So Frick was furious and wanted to take over the business, and he even planned a hostile takeover. In Chapter 14, J.P. Morgan, we're introduced to him now, and his control over the business, like his control and how he conducted business, was one way. It was the Morgan way, which is you take other people's money, invest it, and then make a fortune for yourself. And his father taught him never to take any risks. And so he focused on, when he partnered with Edison, he focused on the operation control of electricity and all the potentials that electricity held. At first it was just light, and then he saw that it could power a toy train. So who's to say that electricity can't power, a vehicle or just improve life? And lastly, in Chapter 15, so with electricity, there were two forms, AC and DC. Edison created DC, and his apprentice Nikola Tesla created AC. And the debate was what quality was better. And DC was the first form of electricity, and AC came later, but it was stronger and could travel over further distances. And Edison did not like AC because he didn't create it. And this led to horrible events, such as Edison designing the electric chair using AC and frying a man alive. Then, so it backfired in Edison's face, and in the end, AC would be the dominant power method that we would use in the future. But overall, the men in the series conducted very leadership and entrepreneur skills that we could all use. Thank you.